Hello, my name is Edward Rivera, and I am attempting right now to figure out why my Vibra King 750 pulse induction metal detector has stopped working. Now, the only thing that stopped working was the vibration. The light still works. Now, what I've done so far is that you'll see right here is that I've cut this end piece off. This end piece is where the stopper goes, which is over here in the living room. But this is where the stopper goes, and the screws are around inside here, and this is pretty much all that you have. Okay, what I did is that I measured it out. See if I can do this with 3 hands, which I don't have. As I measured it out inside up to this point here with the saw. When I took out the stopper, I went ahead and measured it until it hit this black section that you see going down into the tube. Okay, so these two sections match, and then of course you have the rest of the rubber grip which is attached like that, and this goes in here this far. It goes in through the sleeve this far, and then you have the wire sticking through this entire pipe area, the black area, and then it comes out to the very end, and that's where you would put in your 9-volt battery. So what I've done is that I went ahead and cut off that section, and this is what you have left over. That's looking down the pipe through this piece here where the stopper goes. So as you're looking through the pipe, this is pretty much what you see. Okay? And that's of course without the sleeve. So I've taken this section off. The wire I accidentally cut, but I am not worried about it because I can go ahead and I can tape that back on or solder it back on. But as I've noticed, what I'm doing right now is I noticed that once I put in a small, very thin screwdriver into this hole right here and just pushed it in a very small amount just so I can see if this will pop out, if this rubber piece will pop out. And as you can see, it does move. Again, I need 3 hands, so let me try with my left hand since I'm a lefty. Put down the blade, and what I'm doing is holding it with my legs as tight as possible because there is an angle there, so it's kind of difficult. I don't have a vise, so I'm trying to do the best I can. As you can see right here, that little stopper has already started to push down, which means that this whole entire area this whole entire area right here is possibly removable to get to whatever it is that makes it buzz or vibrate. And that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Once I open it, I'll continue to videotape. So as you can see, I went ahead and used a small little screwdriver, and basically I just went around it little bit by little bit and prying it out and prying it out until it popped out. And this is what you have inside of here. That's the only thing that's covering the electronics for waterproofing, or maybe just to keep the electronics still. Now, I don't know if you can see or not, if it'll focus, but right here where my finger is, there's a little tiny hole anyway. Right here, there's that little tiny hole anyway. So if water was going to get inside, it's going to get inside anyhow. That's why you don't want water getting inside. Now, I don't have a problem with water getting inside this unit. It never did. It's been working perfectly, except for that buzzer. The vibrator stopped working, and I need it to vibrate, because as you're metal detecting underwater, if you go into any weeds, into any grassy area, you should be able to, you won't be able to see the light, but you will be able to use the vibration as the actual detector detects metal or rings or a knife or eyeglasses, whatever it may be. Okay, so I'm going to keep on looking forward here. I'm popping off this top right here. I'm being as gentle as I can. I see that I do have extra cable or wire, so I can go ahead and reattach this. So I'll do that later. I'll get back to you in a few minutes after I look inside this unit and find out why it's not buzzing. Thank you. One more thing before I continue to remove that little PC board there. IC board, PC board, whatever. Is that right here, see if I can do this, right here is another rubber on both sides, and it goes all the way around, and the only thing it does is just hugs this board. That's all it does, is hugs this board. Okay, and then as you look right here, past this rubber here, there's nothing but, let's say, light or an airdrop. There's nothing down there. There's possibly one wire or two wires that heads to the LCD light. Other than that, so far, that's it. I'm going to pull it out and then I'll come back to you. Now, as you've seen, I talked to you about this rubber piece. As you've seen, this is what I've talked about, this rubber piece right here that was inside the tube. I decided that it was better not to try to grip right here with a pair of pliers. Okay, needle nose pliers, something very thin to pull out this PC board. What I decided to do, and I did not use a screwdriver, what I decided to do was take the needle nose pliers and pull on this very gently on each side all the way around, and pull it up. And then now this is what you see. I'm still pulling on it, and I have to be careful because I'm not certain what's down at the bottom, if there's a wire attached to the LCD light, which I believe there is, so that's why I'm taking it slowly. Here comes the end. I can feel it coming slowly. Okay, now if I start feeling a tug down here, it's because there's a wire attached down there. My problem is here. I believe the problem is here, and that's why it's not buzzing any longer. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I cut the wire. It just stopped buzzing. Yes, there's the wire. That's the wire. This black and green. That's the black and green wire that's attached to this other end. And this is the end of the battery, which goes to these two leads, positive and negative. And then that wire there, those green and red, is what is attached way down there. And I'm going to try to shine a light down there to see what we see. Now this is what you're looking at. What I see is another little stopper. I see another little stopper. The little stopper has a little... Let's see if I can show you somehow. There. It's a little stopper. Try to make the picture a little closer. Okay, so that's what the picture looks like. It's a little stopper. Now, that heads towards the light. So I believe that when the light buzzes, that you're going to see this green and red one that's attached to the end over here for this buzzer to work. So because I know the light is working, the light buzzes or twinkles, the LED light twinkles when the buzzer is working. But right now the LED light is working, so I'm going to leave that alone, back off, and try to figure out that the problem is obviously here, in here, on this little card here. So I'm going to figure out what the problem is. Maybe something unsoldered itself, maybe it just stopped working. I don't know. So I'm trying to do the best I can, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've attached the wire back together that I cut. Stopper's still out. That goes back inside that hole because I won't be able to use it back in there because that piece is cut off. So what I've done is that I went ahead and used the 9-volt battery rechargeable. Okay, and this is what it looks like in the inside. This is what that little circuit board looks like. Now I have to try to set something down here. Set it down there. Right now, as you can see, it's going crazy, showing that it's near metal because it is near a flashlight and the screwdriver. Okay, but it's still not buzzing. It's still not buzzing in my hand. Excuse me, let me pinch out. It's not buzzing in my hand at all. Now I thought it could possibly be here, the buzzer, but as I look down, through the tube, there's nothing there except for wires that run all the way to the tip. Again, there's a yellow, a black, and a green wire, and it attaches itself to this little gizmo here. Now where I feel, now this is interesting because I've never seen this before, and maybe some of you have or haven't. There's this little wheel here. Let's see if I can move it. See, it's like a little wheel. I'm thinking that when these two resistors, or whatever they are, because I'm not an electronic gizmo or guru, but when this little wheel flies, okay, these guys here register that it's metal. It tells this guy to buzz or to move fast in your hand, and then it starts to buzz, but it's not working. I've checked all these connectors here, as I'll show you. Hold on, let me disconnect here. Give me 1 second. So I went ahead and you know, powered it off, lights off, batteries off. And so once you're looking at this closely, this is what it looks like. Now I checked this end over here by picking it up and making sure that all these connectors right here are still soldered on, and they are. I'm trying to move slowly so you can see every bit of this. Everything's still soldered on. Now, as you go around, you'll notice that it's got this black shiny stuff, some sort of plastic, I don't know, melted on rubber or whatever. It doesn't even feel like rubber, it feels like something hard. It protects, I guess, all these electronics. And then you go to the very end over here where these wires are connected, and basically you can remove this piece right here, leave it onto the pole, of course, and to the wires. You just want to disconnect it and take this whole piece to an electronics store and let them test it and find out if this little wheel here will spin or not, because I believe that is your vibrator, for lack of a better terminology. It spins. If it spins real quick, then that causes a vibration in your hands, and this is just its motor. That's all it is. So this is also being powered from back here. So I believe that the problem is one of these two. Usually when these resistors, or whatever they're called, diodes or resistors, burst, these three sections right here will pop open, including on this one, and you'll find out, I mean, that's how I used to eyeball it in the past. And if they're burnt, you just get it changed out. But I'm in Brazil, there's no, you know, Radio Shack nearby, so I'm gonna have to find out where I can take this to get it fixed. The other thing that I can do is that I can go ahead and put everything back together and just go by the light only. But that means that as you're sweeping left and right, you have to keep your eye on the light. And when you get a you know, the blinking sound, the blinking telling you that it's found metal, then you know you found metal, and you can go ahead and start swiping away the sand, and you can go from there. And this, by the way, is what it looks like in the back of the unit, where the little motor is. It's all covered in this black plastic stuff. So I've checked all that I can check. I've gone ahead and used the battery, replaced the battery, and this little unit didn't fire up as I connected something metal to the disc. Only the light turned on. it didn't buzz anywhere in this section. It didn't buzz here, and it didn't buzz over here. So that means that one or something over here is messed up. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get it fixed, and I'll try to get back to you guys. Thank you for listening.